Hey everybody, it's Dave, Jamie, and Capri here from BirdTricks, and we asked you guys if you wanted a Q&A, and boy did you deliver. We have a lot of questions that you asked, and so we're going to dive in now and do the best we can to answer them.
Any guesses how many questions we got?
53.
45.
That was pretty close.
Yeah. All right, Dave, what's your favorite species of bird?
Yeah, first thing that came to mind was Cressy, so I'm going to go with African gray.
My favorite species of bird is Cressy. Jamie, what's your favorite thing about having birds? I love spending time with them. So you can guess my love language. Capri, what's your favorite bird toy your parents sell?
Oh, I don't know the name of it. What's the one that Prim likes?
Sticks and stones.
Yeah, that one. The Sticks and Stones one.
May break my bones, but Prin will do it even worse.
Yeah.
It's Prim's favorite. She loves it.
This is a question for all of you. What was the first bird you ever had? Start with Dave.
When I was a kid, my parents had a budgie named Budgie. They were not very good at naming pets.
Wow, that's really creative.
Do you remember your first bird?
No.
We already had the flock when Capri was around. But like your personal first bird was probably...
No. Berry? Blue?
Well, Blueberry was like
Blueberry was
set up
technically...
to be kind of as if it was an impulse purchase, but
yeah.
it wasn't. But
technically Capri's, but everyone knows she's mine.
Yeah.
She was mine.
And then Blue.
Yeah, Blue is technically mine.
Yeah, your first, like, I'm choosing to adopt this bird. And mine was a budgie named Scuttles after the seagull on The Little Mermaid.
That's cute.
Skittles. Little. What's the worst vet experience you have had or the worst news from a vet? Ooh.
Well, the worst news is that your bird's not around anymore.
I would say Bandit stands out for that. I remember like getting everything ready and I was like about to go and I got the phone call that he had passed and I screamed.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Let's go to the next question.
This is a sad one.
I'll finish the worst vet experience would be what you relayed about Rocco and like how they were choking him and like couldn't hold him and they were like not qualified to work with him.
If you ever wonder why I don't go to the vet anymore by myself, it's that experience. I had a really awful...
Like, I'll help hold birds if they need. I got offered a job for that, actually.
Did. Yeah. When he offered to help restrain one of the birds properly at the vet, they were like, can we hire you to do this? And he was like, no. Yeah, we did have a very traumatic, and I would say I've gone to the vet, I believe twice by myself, and both times have been the most traumatizing experiences I've ever had. And now I'm like, you can go by yourself, because it's not traumatizing for Dave, but I won't go by myself. What are your opinions on bird-safe plants as enrichment for parrots, and would you ever consider them for your own birds? So funny, because my parents recently moved. My mom had like 47 plants and was like, you can have them all. She brought them all over. They literally took up my entire dining room, and we started searching what each plant was, and every single plant was toxic to parrots, so I had to give them all away.
Which I was not bummed about because our entire house looked like the entire display at Home Depot. It was a disaster.
Yeah,
it was a greenhouse.
Yeah.
I found out my money tree is non-toxic, which is great. But yeah, I think I would be more open to it if we had seasons more appropriate for them living. So we'll move, and then we can use non-toxic plants.
That sounds like a great idea.
You dropped that on YouTube before anywhere else?
They're going to be like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. It's a whole money thing.
The money tree's still growing, though.
The money tree's still doing well. The actual real money, not so much. Jamie, are you as strict with your human family's diet as you are with the birds? What do you guys think? I guess you guys can answer.
No.
Do you think I'm strict when it comes to food?
No, but you don't really make food for me. I mostly make food for myself.
That's not true. I make food, and then you see that there's vegetables in it, and you're like,
that is not
make
true.
Something else. I'll make some pasta with no vegetables.
No, I put parsley in my pasta. But no.
Did you say I put parsley in my pasta? Is that an argument to my vegetable statement?
No.
Okay.
But I do put parsley in my...
But you cook really healthy, and so I would say it's along the lines of the seasonal feeding system, but not quite as strict, like nothing else. So
there's sauces.
Yeah, there's
a lot of
sauces.
green onions.
I like green onions.
It's mostly green onions.
It's mostly
It
green
looks
onions.
like a salad.
I feel like we're leaning towards strict as they just hear salad and vegetables.
I
but-
like it.
You're going back on vitamins. I was wondering if there are genetic health issues with captive bred birds, and if so, are breeders doing anything about it?
I think when you get into second generation hybrids, we see a lot of genetic mutations that are not good. It's not always the case, but that's where I've seen it the most. I think the bigger problem is breeders breeding birds that are sick. That's a big problem.
Yeah, and all breeders are different, so I'm sure some are doing something about it and some are putting it under the rug. Who are the best resources besides the vet that you know, unless they just happen to also be a vet, for blind, going blind, arthritic, and aging birds? So basically like geriatric birds. I would say Mel Vincent, she's one that we worked with long ago in Australia, and she's fantastic, and she sees a lot of geriatric birds. I mean, she's had galahs up until their 60s and done really amazing things for older birds. We ended up consulting on our very first blind cockatiel in Australia, and she was there and had consulted with them previously, not necessarily on that, but I think that she's a really great resource. So Mel Vincent would be my first thought.
She also figured out the secret to making cockatoos quiet. You don't want me to share that, do you? We were down there and...
you don't want me to share that, so here's the story.
And she had a friend over that was staying there for a while that had a snake, and all the cockatoos were screaming until they saw the snake eat a rat. Then they were silent for like the rest of the day. So it's the secret, apparently.
My question is, will you adopt or buy another budgie?
Yes. I will buy the budgie.
I have offered, because a high school friend got in touch with me, and they are moving to Hawaii this summer, and they did ask if we would be willing to take their budgie. And I said, as a last resort, if they cannot find it another home, I will work with this budgie in the attempts to find it a permanent home.
This is the one with the little like vest tuxedo thing?
No, that one didn't end up
Rocky?
working out. That one got adopted already.
Oh, man, he was cute.
I did say yes to this other budgie, and they ended up finding him a home before he could come to us. So
No, he had the little vest on.
I know, he was really cute. This one's a female and is like yellowish, yellow and black.
Prim could have a friend.
What would be the
You
best?
can't have friends.
Prim is not a
Mo could have a friend.
Mo could have a friend.
Mo could have a friend. What would be the best family parrot for all members of a family?
Budgie.
I think a budgie.
Budgie. Budgies are totally underrated. You don't hear me talk about this much on YouTube, but I think that budgies should be sold at like $250 price points. So it's not treated like the goldfish you win at the fair. I think they're so unintentionally abused because they're like cheap.
Yeah.
But if they were like $250 birds, I think
People would put the work
people
in.
would put the work in and realize how amazing they are. They're incredible.
What do you think it takes to do a job like yours? What is your favorite thing about it, and what do you dislike?
Ooh, what does it take? It's taken a lot of grit and perseverance and thick skin for the first 20 years.
I think my answer would be like it takes a lot of passion. Like you have to be passionate about it.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah. I love the psychology aspect of it. So within our company, I do more of the free flight training and consulting and in the field stuff, and I love the challenge that brings. If it's just like a baby bird, I don't want to discount it by saying it's easy, but it's an easier process than a bird that's a year old or was previously clipped or has just unique challenges that we have to work through and figure out. I really nerd out on the psychology of it, and I think it's fun to find what those little things are that you can change to have success with the bird or the client.
And then what do you dislike about it?
What I dislike is the psychology aspect of it.
What?
I dislike when I'm like hired to coach and the person just ignores the feedback. They don't have to necessarily agree. I don't care if they agree or disagree, but like when there's like really important things and it gets ignored, I dislike that. I would much rather have a two-way conversation of like, oh, well, if I do it that way, can I do it this way instead or whatever? And that would be totally fine. But
more collaborative.
Yeah, but I think that's the only downside that I dislike.
Yeah.
And that there's not enough of us. That's becoming a new dislike. Is we need more.
We're working on that.
We need more people to share the workload.
That's for sure. What is the rarest bird we have in our flock? Probably blue throat.
Prim.
Prim is not rare.
Yeah.
She's a dinosaur.
They're all
She's
dinosaurs.
definitely rare.
She's
No, she's a literal dinosaur.
a
She
murder bird.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say the blue throats.
Yeah,
I
blue
think.
throats are definitely the rarest. Their numbers are probably doing the worst.
But my favorite, rarest bird that I've worked with has been red-tailed black cockatoos. Those are my favorite specialty bird to work with.
Yeah. I really want to work with a gang.
Yes. They're so goofy looking.
They're so goofy. They're like gray and they have red and
They kinda
they're
look like a-
short and stocky-ish. And
Like a messed up galah with an underbite.
yeah, they definitely have underbites.
They're just goofy.
I would love to work with one of those.
That would be fun.
Pet insurance, worth it or not?
Don't know.
We don't have it. We don't know. We have clients that have spoken really highly of it.
My mom actually just got pet insurance for her dog. And
Oh.
like 2 months later, he scratched both of his corneas. And I hadn't told you this yet. Then he had like eye infections and he was like going blind. And she's like, good thing I put $50 a month into this insurance.
Ooh.
So I guess with that breed of dog, there's like issues that are underlying that are kind of autoimmune stuff. But anyway, she's grateful to pay the $50 a month on pet insurance. So I would say worth it with that story.
For pet parrots living above the Arctic Circle and they get very limited sunlight, likely none at all since it's too cold outside, do you think they should be provided with UVB lighting? I think all birds should be exposed to natural sunlight
Yeah.
when possible and as much as possible. I think that as long as they're given the opportunity to get in and out of that sun as much as they want, they're going to get a healthy amount. I would like more opportunity to have
We
more
walked out to the studio and I was like, you okay, Jamie? And she like found the sun and she looked like, I forget the birds in Florida, they're like, they just soak up the sun. And it was like Jamie's, just a giant solar panel recharging out there.
It just stopped. I was like, what is this feeling? Which cockatoo is best? We'll start with you.
red-tailed black cockatoos.
Really? That's your favorite?
Yes.
You just gotta make some more money so we can get one. Look how cute.
That easy. Or Maggie?
Or specifically Maggie, but
Maggie's pretty cute.
Maggie's a female umbrella cockatoo, so.
Hi, Maggie.
it's either specifically Maggie or it's red-tailed black cockatoo.
All right, which cockatoo is best?
The red-tailed black.
Yeah?
I mean, Bondi is all right, but
Bondi was really sweet yesterday, though.
Galahs are hilarious.
I think
I
galahs
just think
are
they're so
funny.
funny. They just make me laugh a lot.
I think they're, with the right owner, galahs are great.
Yeah.
I think they're a handful in the wrong hands.
Yeah. I will say,
So is
being
any
more
bird.
specific to a type is that one male Major Mitchell I met in Australia and watched Free Fly. Man, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
So he's still my favorite.
I do like the Major Mitchells, but yeah.
I'm going to go with Galah. That's my final answer.
Who's the guy who has the really big one that's like that, and I held him?
Kai.
Yeah.
Kai has a Mullican.
What's his name? No.
Pooh Bear.
That one.
That one's your favorite?
Well, it's not my favorite, but I like that one.
Okay.
Capri's answer is all the cockatoos.
She does like cockatoos.
It
That's
does.
it's interesting. Didn't get that from us.
Our Red Lord Amazon spent his first 4 allegedly years neglected in a tiny cage. Never learned to fly. Since then, a couple of months later, he can now spread his wings and jump fly from a table to the floor for 3 to 4 feet. Is there a hope he could learn how to properly fly? Red Lord, isn't that the same as Freebie?
I think it's the same as Freebie, who had a similar story. Freebie's like 30, 40 years old, something like that.
30 years old, and we just recently graduated this Amazon who is just on his second free flight trip. So his video will be coming out this summer, hopefully, and you guys will get to enjoy that. But I think that'll give you a lot of hope.
Yeah, I think, the smaller the bird, the better they bounce back from stuff like that and learn to fly. And if he's already showing signs that he wants to, or she, I didn't catch it, but if your bird's already showing signs that they are wanting to fly, then yeah, there's a lot of hope, I think.
If you were a parrot, what kind would you be?
You're gonna say blue throat.
I know what you'd be.
That I would be that?
Yeah, I would be blue throat.
What would you be?
I don't know.
I think you'd be parrot.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Parrot?
Yeah, it's just a parrot for sure.
You're saying I know him?
I was saying a little moody.
I would say you'd be a glaw. Goofy.
You would be a galah.
What? I'd be one that likes to fly. I don't know. I'd probably be a macaw.
Can you be a squirrel?
I think you'd be a
You think
galah.
I'd be a galah?
Yeah, you're not serious enough to be a macaw.
I'm not deserving of being a macaw. What would you be?
I was gonna say a budgie because I got stuff to do, places to be, things to see,
Talk a lot.
stuff to discover.
Overwork.
I'm busy.
Yeah, very busy.
You know they talk a lot, right?
Barry didn't talk.
Yes, she did.
I mean, she bewed and
pew.
pew pew Barry.
And then her angry voice.
Oh man, when she was like,
Oh yeah.
then just like left.
Yeah, my favorite thing is if we ever left for a trip and we came back, she would do like laps around the house with what seemed to be just excitement and joy that we're home.
It's
It's
like, oh my
we're like 1, 2, 3.
We like count the laps and like wait for her to be done.
Oh, she was a blast.
Gosh, I miss that bird so much.
Going back to the earlier question, definitely a budgie for a family bird. Still there.
Still. When and how did you first know that you had a love and passion to work with birds? You want to go first?
No.
Dave?
I guess it's been a while since people have kind of heard my backstory, but my family always had birds, and I won a big magic competition with a dove act, so birds, and then I wanted to add a macaw to the ending, and my parents' macaw was really mean, so I trained at a card trick and realized that it became nice, and like the light bulb that went off, like, oh, you just have to train them stuff and they become nice. Like the thought didn't even exist, and I was pretty young, but 17. But I would say that was like the defining moment where I was like, holy cow, this like evil trophy pet actually could be really fun to do things with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's really cool. I think for me, it was probably my first project bird, Storm, the interrupting Amazon that I worked with.
He's interrupting you. Here, start over. He's interrupting you.
He's interrupting me?
Yeah, he's interrupting.
I don't think he's interrupting me. Is he interrupting you?
Storm, how come you're interrupting her and not me?
Are you interrupting me? I don't think it's me.
That was where like my first passion grew, where I was like, oh my gosh, this journey is so fun. This transformation is so amazing, and the ups and downs emotionally that I went through of like doubting myself and then being excited about successes and just everything, and working. He in particular just had the most amazing humans by his side that just let me experiment and do anything, and I just really appreciated that. And I think that's where it like really started for me. Like we had birds and stuff and I loved them very much, but as far as like working with them and that passion, that definitely just like started with the seed of Storm.
Yeah.
Storminator.
Storm. Do you have a bird that you're passionate training with?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like when did you realize? You already said you wanted to be a marine biologist.
Yeah, that's why you got skipped.
But you started working with them when we were doing Project Birds. You worked with Lefty and a little bit with Touche and stuff.
Basically when I was born.
When you were born,
When
that's
I
the
was
answer.
And they were on your head and all over you. And
Yes.
all right, that's a good one. Cool. We are going to split this into parts. So if your question didn't get answered yet, know that we are going in order, and we will post a part 2 to this Q&A. Stick around. Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, yet the #1 most rehomed. If you're interested in joining our mission of saving parrots one person at a time, visit birdtricks.com to learn more about our parrot training courses, organic bird food, all-natural parrot toy line, and much, much more. When we know better, we do better. It's through you that we can help people offer only the best quality products to their parrots, along with the knowledge they need to live in harmony with their birds through permission-based training. Visit birdtricks.com today to learn more.